ladies and gentlemen, our dear subscribers, followers, and new viewers. My name is Seguya Hamis. Today I've brought you a farm layout design that we've worked on recently. And there isn't so many things that are different in this one, but there's just one thing that made it interesting. It's a breeding farm layout. That basically means it has particularly goat, but this client planning on having reproduction of pure breeds basically. Our plan has 600 goats subdivided into 200. That means we have 3 structures of 200 capacity on zero grazing. Our layout altogether an 8-acre layout. That means we have at least 2 acres for structures and a plantation farm, and then 6 acres pasture growing. As you usually say, for pastures, for goat feeding, you're going to provide an acre of pastures for 50 goats. So every 200 goats take up to 4 acres. Good quality feeding. We're not talking about feeding where you give your animals some little grass in the morning, then in the evening if you're not tired enough you give them some more. No, we're talking about feeding whereby your animals are constantly eating until they walk away from the feeds. That way you know your animals are not going to be underweight, your animals are not going to be skinny, your animals are not going to start falling sick simply because they are malnourished. So, which brings us to a total of 12 acres that would be needed for this farm to run very well. But as I've said, our layout as it is, it's on 8 acres, whereby we only have 6 reserved for the pastures. We have staff quarters because our farm has people that run it, that do the day-to-day work, and they need to sleep somewhere after feeding our goats. Our staff quarters has 3 units, which being double occupants. That means our staff quarters in total can house up to 6 people, 2 people per room. It has a toilet, it has a bit of compound around the staff quarters, it has a parking lot because as you know farms, you have traffic coming in and out. You bring in goats, you're taking out goats, you bring in pastures, you're taking out pastures, things like that. We have a store because we have a lot of things that need to be kept safe, locked away sometimes. We have a hay shed where our feeds are processed and stored for short term. Those are facilities we have. We also have a water tank because definitely everything runs on water. Water is life. But what makes this video special and why did I bring it up? It's the breeding part. Our client intends to breed Boers, Savannahs and Kalaharis goats. That was the first reason for separating our animals and our structure into 3 different parts. Hence having 3 structures of 200 capacity. That means we're going to have 200 Boers, we're going to have 200 Kalaharis and 200 Savannahs. Today I want to go a bit in detail about what you need to know, how special construction and design of a structure that is used for breeding is different from an ordinary grazing or an ordinary structure. A structure that you use for just holding animals usually just has one. For example, you have like 100. You're going to find yourself having maybe at most 4 bucks, the rest being female. Then you provide the room for the kids and the pregnant mothers, and then the exercise yard. So basically you can just have a housing with only 3 partitions. But for breeding structure, for someone planning to breed, here comes the difference. A house that's going to hold ordinarily for just keeping animals, you expect that most of the time, because you don't want inbreeding, you're going to have most of the bucklings, the male young ones, when they reach a stage where they've started wanting to mate, you're not going to allow them mate with the nannies that are born of the same moms or from the same buck, which causes inbreeding. You don't want that. So usually you find that most people, they either sell them off or they are going to castrate them, so they are literally worthless. But then for a breeding farm, you find that every other animal is of worth. Majorly breeding means you're going to breed these animals, you want them to reach capacity to either reproduce or be sold off to someone that is looking to start a whole farm. Your major customers are people that are stocking their farms. Because you're not going to sell these animals off before they are ready, you're not going to castrate them so that they don't try mating with others. What happens is you'll have to keep them in separate spaces. You have your original breeds, your parent stock, and then you have the product stock. What we do is we break this structure into even smaller partitions. We provide for bucklings, the small ones. We provide for nannies. We provide for the mothers. We provide for the bucks, the fathers. We provide a maternity ward. We provide a general flock. Basically, general flock is parent stock is where it's kept. And then you have what should be the kid stock also separated. What I'm trying to say is housing or breeding is different from that of ordinary animal keeping, in that you're going to provide different partitions for every other category of animals. You first of all avoid inbreeding, but then every other animal is secured and can be monitored, so that by the time it reaches time for sale, it is actually in good condition, because now your target market is people looking to stock their farms and now have good quality animals to start their own farms. Basically, that is what makes this special. And then every other structure we have on this one, the 3 of our structures, they're also set up like that. You find that we have a kids structure whereby the moms and the kids are put together like a partitions where they breastfeed them from and all that, as you know why. Then we have those that have finished breastfeeding. We separate the nannies, we separate the bucklings, and then we have the back section. That's where we either isolate the parent bucks or just keep them there. Or there are even those, maybe you want to have some that are now, because a buckling is one that hasn't reached mating age, and then a buck is one that's ready to mate. You can also have that section where you keep either those that are parent or the ones that have reached mating stage and are ready to sell off. Then we have the mother stock, the mothers themselves, where you separate them from. It all goes like that. Depending on, you may even have an isolation, for example, because you know as numbers grow, these animals get playful, some are too stubborn, they attack each other, or even being sick. So you can add such just to ensure that you produce quality product of animals and also for quick monitoring. That has been our layout today. Thank you for watching, thank you for following us, and keep waiting for our new videos. I'm sure every other video we post here can be of use. Thank you. I'm Hamis.